Evening, everyone. Who else but Donny Walker here? I was just down at the French Creek down here. It's the second time I've been down there trying to catch some coho, and tonight the high tide was around 4 o'clock, so I went down there and just used a regular blue fox spinner and caught a couple bullheads. Well, that long, 10, 11 inches long, big bullheads. But anyways, did not get any coho. I see them rolling in there and dancing around, and then I went up with my bike along this trail underneath the bridge, and there was a guy there fly fishing. He had a coho. Oh, it was probably maybe a 6 to 8 pounder, around that. Another guy. There was 3 guys fishing right there, and they were kind of had all the spots, so I had no spot to fish. So I'll go back down tomorrow. I'm going to check the tides. And we do need a little more rain. This rain we had yesterday was pretty heavy, and that's what we need in the rivers here, so the fish come in real quick. There's a bunch of seals right out there at the mouth of the river, so we know there's some salmon around. Obviously there was. I seen them rolling and jumping, and tomorrow I'll get some video footage of that, okay? They're a nice looking coho. So the guy had laying there on the beach definitely was a nice edible one. So we'll try that out again tomorrow. Another reason I want to talk tonight was about the old 500i calibration setups and whatnot. You know, there's a few videos out there. Buck and Billy Ray did one with Ripsaw, and there's another guy, what's his name? I'm sorry, I can't remember his name, but AGF or AG or something. I've been watching some of his channel. He's doing a really good job too. He shows how to kind of reset them as well. I've actually, we've had problems with our computer system and the Stihl site here in Canada. But I finally, yesterday, went to Walker's Saw Shop, and I figured it out on my own. I'm not a real computer whiz, but there was no one else there to help me. So I kept going through the system. When you put the MDG1 on there, the Stihl diagnosis tool, you got to plug it in to the black lead on the saw here. Okay, on the saw here is your black plug-in on your control module, which is basically a coil in a way, but they call them control modules now. And then the other end into the unit. So I finally got onto the computer, onto the program where it identified the saw with the serial number. And I went through all the checklists of all the electronic components. I've already done a fuel system check on this one before that. But I finally went out, and I wasn't quite reading it right. They don't explain it very well, and I've never been shown by any Stihl people. And if anyone from Stihl watches this, I'm telling you, you guys are terrible with your dealers here in Canada. No one comes around to help us show us stuff on the computer. We spend a lot of time on that computer to try to figure out stuff on Mtronic and whatnot these days. And we should really be compensated for it, but no, we aren't. So it's kind of a drag. But I sat there and I did it 4 or 5 times. When I got to the section where it goes to try to calibrate it, there's a couple arrows, and then I finally figured out after about the 5th time, you got to hit those arrows, and you go through steps of the calibration of it. Then you go out, unplug it, and go out and physically run it, like you seen the guy at Ripsaw do their what's his name again? Oh shoot, sorry about that, buddy. But Buckin's buddy there down there. Anyways, so you go start it up. I let it idle for 40 seconds, 45 around there, and fully pin it. And it goes into like limb mode, like a really bad 4-stroke sound, like a really bad rototiller engine. And all of a sudden it picks up in the RPM, then it'll drop down. And that's when you let the throttle off and you let it idle for about another 30 to 40 seconds. Then it quits on its own. Then you take it back into the shop, hook the computer wire back up to it, and hit the select of the calibration, and it'll show you if it was successful or not. The first 4 times I did it, it wasn't successful because I wasn't doing it right. I didn't read it right or understand the computer thing on the computer screen. But I finally did it, and now I know how to do it, and I'll be doing a lot more of them. I haven't had a lot of issues with 500i's here. We've sold tons of them. A lot of my friends are running them, and there's been a few that we've had problems with, and a lot of other dealers are having problems with them here too that don't understand how to deal with the computer, you know. Like one local Stihl dealer in town here, I went to try to use his computer setup, and he hadn't even used his MDG for like, I don't know, a year or something. So you know what? It'd be so nice if these big companies like Husqvarna and Stihl would actually send a tech guy around to each dealership and sit down with the mechanics and go through the process of tuning these new saws. It's very important for a person like me that's not, real good on computers and stuff like that. It just needs to be done. Like, they're all like, oh, well, it would cost so much. I'm like, oh, that's a bunch of bull crap, because you know what? These companies got billions of dollars, man. They can afford to send someone around to do that. And they really should. It's so frustrating as a dealer to not get a lot of tech help like that. I don't work at the dealership anymore, but I try to keep in tune with it all, because I want all my brother's customers and all my friends to have their saws running properly. And so they should, of course, right? This new technology, a lot of people put their noses up at it and think that all the older series are still good, which they are very good. But these newer series saws, they run great when they're running properly. When they're not, it can be a little frustrating, and we all know that now. I always say with new models, man, it always takes a couple of years to get the bugs out of them, and people, then they start coming around, right? But anyways, this is a friend of mine, Brian's saw. I got another one I'm going to go down and do on Tuesday when I go back down, take some saws back down to Walker's to ship out to you fine folks. But this one, it calibrated perfect. And the one thing with this saw is it has very little time on it. I forget the exact many hours, but I had all that written down and printed it off at the shop there. So I actually ran this saw before I even went and did that, and it just didn't seem up to par. I had no tachometer with me or anything, but you know what? I've ran thousands of chainsaws in my lifetime. Big ones, small ones, medium ones, racing ones. I know how a saw should feel and how it should perform. I don't need a tachometer or a computer telling me that. But you do need the computer now to download this type of stuff, okay? It's just the way it is and the way it's going to be. So don't think that it's going to go away, because it isn't going to go away. What else did I want to say? So yeah, after I did that calibration, yes, I went out and ran it, and did about 5-6 cuts in about a 20-inch furlong, and this thing performed perfect. I only had a 24-inch bar on it with a brand new skip tooth 33 RSF chain on it. But I'm telling you, it was fabulous. And I cut some small stuff too, just to see what it was like. And sure, it hits the governor, of course, like every other new saw does, the rev limiter, right? But you know what? When it's in the wood and buried, it was pulling very good. This is a stock saw with a modified muffler. So I'm just saying, if any of the dealers in Canada, if you guys are watching, or any people in Canada here in BC area and Western Canada who need any help with the 500i, you give me a shout or send me a message and I'll help you out, okay? I've got it figured out now, and I sort of did before, but it was really poor for Stihl. I'm going to say it again. It's a shame that they don't come around and tell us this stuff or show us how to do that properly, okay? Come on, guys. Get it together. So anyways, that's my story with the 500i situation, and I'm going to start running a lot more of them that way. Almost every one that I'm going to modify now, or if I change the piston and cylinder, or a fuel injection system, or or anything on them, I'm going to recalibrate them, because that's what you should do. Even if you've actually modified them, you should just run them anyways, and do that to them, because it's going to be perfect. And you won't have any problems with your customers, and your customers won't have problems. Guy's not going to climb up 1,000 feet that day and cut his trees down and be really choked at you because the thing's in limp mode and not running right. So that's what you want to do with these, and I'll learn more about it as well. On that note, let's talk about something else. How about the Echo 7310, CS 7310? This is Cole Bremner's saw. He just shipped it to me. And I told him that I would get on it a little quicker instead of waiting a long time. And Cole works up in Williams Lake area at a mine, a copper mine. And I said, hey man, send me a piece of copper. So he did. Check this out. And it says, Donny, it's a chunk of raw copper from a mine. I just did a little polish on the bottom of it. Check it out, eh? Pretty cool. Yeah, I like stuff like that, man. So Cole, we'll get that happening for you. I got another one to do as well, so I'm going to machine both cylinders at the same time to get our squish right and get them ported up nicely, modify the muffler, and you'll be happy with it. So yeah. Blue Jays tonight. I got to get upstairs and watch the Blue Jays and have some supper. Not, now that I didn't catch any, right? Shelly hates fish and is allergic to it, and eggs. So when I do have fish, like last night we went out for dinner, I had fish and chips, but I don't cook it at home just because of the smell and whatnot. I don't want to get her have a problem with the allergic to, because she's allergic to it, right? So anyways, keep your saw into it, stick your nice, rubbing the road, your rod tip up. And I will do a video tomorrow. I'm going to go check the tides right now. And I might go early in the morning and go fishing, or in the afternoon again like I did today. And this time I'm going to have a little bit more, some different lures and another fishing rod. I got about probably 10 fishing rods here, salmon rods, trout rods. And I just haven't fished for a while, you know, and I'm going to get back into it because I love doing it, and I love fish. So if I can catch a nice coho, I'll keep it and cook it outside for myself on the barbecue or something, so I can eat it and give it away to someone, or just catch and release. I do that a lot with fish through my years of trout fishing and steelhead fishing and salmon fishing. I've let a lot go, and I think that's a nice thing to do. You got to conserve our waters, and if you're not really going to keep it and eat it, just let it go, and use barbless hooks as well, so you don't damage your fish. Anyways, have a great night. Sunday night. Go Blue Jays, go. Have a good night. Bye now.